Hurricane Milton is now a Category 4 storm and taking aim at the Tampa Bay area. Federal officials are already on the ground across the southeast, helping devastated communities recover and rebuild from Hurricane Helene. But former President Donald Trump continues to push a whirlwind of lies, doubling down on debunked claims about the Biden administration's response. And here's just one example.
They stole the FEMA money just like they stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants that they want to have vote for them. We're missing $1 billion they gave them to the migrants that came in, and now we don't have the money. We'll do it, but they don't have the money to take care of. That's why they're giving you lousy treatment in North Carolina in particular.
And joining me now to fact check this, senior reporter for CNN, Daniel Dale, our fact checker. Daniel, I mean, there are actually too many lies about this to do in this segment, but let's take these as many as we can, one at a time. What about this false claim?
So this was a double lie. This was a 2-for-1. So first of all, there is no Biden administration illegal scheme to illegally register undocumented people to vote in this election. Non-citizen voting is a felony. It's rare. There's no conspiracy here. And then this bigger claim. So there is no basis for saying that money was stolen from FEMA. Right. Money is missing. Let me give you the facts here. So there are 2 separate pots of money we're talking about, each of them specifically appropriated by Congress for a specific purpose. So there's more than $35 billion in disaster relief money that was appropriated to FEMA disaster relief in this fiscal year. And then there was a much smaller pot of money, about $650 million, that Congress said we're going to give to Customs and Border Protection to shelter and support migrants, and we're going to have Customs and Border Protection transfer that money to FEMA to administer the program because they have experience administering grant programs. Again, 2 separate pots. There was no reason, no basis for saying that there's some sort of hanky-panky, some sort of theft here. Just not happening.
Yeah, and we had a FEMA official on earlier who said they have the resources right now to deal with Helene. So they have the money. They have it.
They have it.
And Trump is also falsely claiming this about North Carolina residents who lost everything in the storm. It's like that.
They're offering them $750 to people whose homes have been washed away. We give foreign countries hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're handing North Carolina $750.
Yeah, what's going on with the $750 then?
So this is nonsense again. So the $750, Jim, that is immediate upfront assistance that survivors of the hurricane can access quickly for emergency needs, making sure they have food for them and their families, that they have water, that they have baby formula, emergency supplies. But in addition to that, survivors are eligible to apply for various additional forms of aid that can total in the thousands or tens of thousands. Yeah. So temporary housing assistance, medical and dental assistance, even the home repair assistance can itself total up to $42,500. And just one more point, Jim, since he's comparing, aid to North Carolina victims to Ukraine aid, government-to-government aid, like the federal government is providing $100 million this weekend to the North Carolina Department of Transportation to quickly repair roads and bridges. So there's personal assistance plus billions more federal government to state and local government.
This has been a massive, unprecedented response. We are deeply grateful for the federal resources that we have. FEMA has been on the ground with us since the very beginning of this.
In the wake of Hurricane Helene, at least 232 people have lost their lives across 6 states. North Carolina has taken the brunt of that toll, where flooding left at least 117 people dead and many others still unaccounted for. State and local officials from both parties have praised response efforts from FEMA so far. But online, misinformation and rumors are swirling about the storm. Some of the rumors also being pushed by Donald Trump on the campaign trail.
Kamala Harris has left them stranded. This is the worst response to a storm or a catastrophe or a hurricane that we've ever seen, ever. Probably worse than Katrina, and that's hard to beat, right?
President Biden responded to some of these claims online over the weekend. He called Donald Trump a liar and said his administration is, quote, moving heaven and earth, end quote, to make sure states get what they need. Republican North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis was also asked about some of Trump's comments this weekend about the federal response in his state.
We have the resources that we need. We're going to have to go back and pass more resources. We could have a discussion about the failure of this administration's border policies and the billions of dollars it's costing. But right now, not yet is it affecting the flow of resources to Western North Carolina.
It is not a factor, to be clear. Okay.
Not at this time.
Interesting. Okay, panel's back. Matt Gorman, I mean, Trump is out there saying these things, kind of putting it out there. Officials, Republicans and Democrats on the ground are saying this is not the case. They are getting what they need. You heard Tom Tillis there, again, a Republican, say that. Now, that said, the scenes that are still occurring, I mean, they are still doing rescue operations in parts of North Carolina, which is a difficult reality for the sitting administration.
Terrible. It's a terrible look. And I think my biggest critique of this whole thing is very clear that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris failed to recognize the kind of the level of the storm at first, right? You had Joe Biden at home in Rehoboth. You had Kamala Harris still raising money out in the West Coast. They acted kind of physically and optically late to recognize what a potentially damaging the storm this could be. And also, I think, that is kind of where my critique lies. It seems like Trump beat them there in terms of being on the ground, just like he kind of did with East Palestine with the train derailment in Ohio a couple of years ago. And it just seems like Trump has a little bit more of a keener eye for the pure optics of these sorts of things than they do.
I want to jump in here, though, because I do think as sitting president and a sitting vice president, there is something to be said for not taking resources away from those things that are being done on the ground, especially given the fact that they still are doing the critical things that they need to be doing of rescuing. You don't want to get in there too soon, but you want to get in there soon enough. I would also just add that the hypocrisy here that Trump is doing, he withheld dollars from Puerto Rico until the very end, FEMA. There was talk of the California wildfires and asking if those people, voted for him before he gave money afterwards. I do think there's some major hypocrisy going on with him as well.
Isaac, how is the administration looking at this right now? I mean, do they feel like this is something that is threatening them politically? The fact that this rescue is
North Carolina,
still
it's
happening?
Georgia. These are battleground states.
Yeah.
They would like Kamala Harris to win them. Their approach to it has been largely to focus on the emergency response. I said last week on this program, and I will repeat it, that I do not think that it makes any difference to the actual rescue operations to have anybody go and visit. It's just about the theater and the visuals and whatever. It didn't matter that Donald Trump was there. It didn't matter that Joe Biden was there. It didn't matter that Kamala Harris was there on Saturday. They have to focus on actually rescuing the people, on the recovery, on getting people things like diapers that they need or the homes that they're going to need for the next couple of weeks at least. But this does get tangled up in other things. I mean, I had a story over the weekend that got into how some of this is about the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris dynamics. One of the things that's going on here is that Joe Biden went earlier in the week, which made Kamala Harris have to delay her own trip to North Carolina until Saturday. And that was a point of some tension between the White House and the campaign, because though I can sit here and say this is all theater, it is theater that people pay attention to.
That matters. Have you been paying attention to that dynamic also?
Oh, absolutely. There are things. I'm here for it. Any messy drama, I'm there. Yeah, I mean, clearly Joe Biden still wants credit. For, like, you saw it when he came out on Friday, and he was like, all these things are going great. He made a list. He said, like, jobs report, everything else. And then Kamala Harris's message is like, we still have more work to do. Mm-hmm. And there is tension between those two things.